Hi guys, I'm Eleanor and I'm here to talk to you about my teaching abroad experience. I am originally from the US, but I have been living in the UK for the past 8 months. I left Thailand last October and I lived there for a year. And I'm excited to say I'm going back next week to spend a little more time there as well. So to talk about my experience, I always knew that I wanted to do a lot of traveling after school. And then once I decided that I wanted to be a teacher, I thought that teaching abroad kind of just made the most sense. And I had heard a few people had done it, so I just started to look into it. A few of my friends signed up for TEFL Heaven, so I decided to look into that in January or February of 2017, and then by end of September, I was on a flight on my way to Bangkok. So I arrived in Bangkok on my own. I was obviously pretty nervous, as you would be, but I had been talking to a few people from the TEFL group, so I met up with them, and you just immediately create this bond that you wouldn't be able to make in any other circumstance. Because everyone's in the same boat, you just click and you make friends, and that's it, and the rest is just history pretty much. For my 3 weeks of training, I have friends that I will be friends with for the rest of my life, and friends that I have been able to keep in touch since those 3 weeks. My training was the best, probably the best 3 weeks of my life. Just the amount of fun and the laughs that we had, I'll never be able to get an experience like that again. So I will just always have those memories. After the 3 weeks, I was feeling really confident, excited to start my teaching. I had requested to be in a rural part of Thailand, so I knew I was going away leaving all of the friends that I had just met, but I knew that this is what I wanted. I was excited, I was ready. So I arrived in my location, and I pretty quickly found out that I'm more of a city girl rather than someone that would live in the countryside. So that was really, really hard for me. I went back and forth talking to TEFL and friends, my parents, just to try and figure out what to do because I was having such a hard time. Ultimately, sadly, I made the decision to leave that location and go and try and find a job in Bangkok. So that, I think, was just the hardest part about my entire experience, because in that situation, you don't want to let anyone else or anyone down. You don't want to let yourself down, other people down, but at the end of the day, you have to do what you think is best for you, and you want to get the best experience for yourself possible. So even though I had so much support from TEFL and everybody else, it was still a huge, it took a huge emotional toll on me. So I think how I was able to kind of get through that was just right when I got to Bangkok, dive into my new school, get into the work, explore the city, and just try and come back from that little experience. I don't regret anything, and I wouldn't have had the same experience in Thailand without it. So I moved to a school called Konkeo Montessori Kindergarten. It was me and one other English teacher and about 9 Thai teachers. That was also a little bit of a struggle because I only had one other English speaker with me pretty much for the whole week, 5 days of the week. None of my Thai teachers spoke English, so that was a little bit difficult, especially when trying to teach my lessons and working with the kids. It was just hard with the language barrier, obviously. So that was a little bit tricky, but it's amazing the connection you can make with people from another culture without speaking any words. I would consider the people at my school to be some of my friends for life also, even though we weren't able to have a conversation. So I think that's something that's really special. All in all, my experience in Thailand and teaching abroad could not have been better. It made me a better person, a stronger person, and I have a bunch of great stories to tell now. So that's a lot of fun for me. I think if you are even thinking about it, if you even have the thought in your head, just go for it. There's nothing that should be holding you back. If it's a job, if it's friends, if it's family, it's something that you'll never regret doing. If you speak to anyone that's ever traveled abroad, taught abroad, I guarantee you 9.9999 times out of 10 they'll say that it was one of the best, if not the best, decisions they've ever made. So I definitely say go for it. If you have any questions, if you're feeling hesitant, please feel free to message me, and I'm happy to chat and answer any questions. Thanks, guys.